Hi, my name is Ivan and welcome to TNS. In this video we're gonna keep on working on the song that we've been working on so far. In the previous video we kinda got the rough mix or the static mix together. In this video I would like to show you how do I process my master bus and how do I process all the other buses. So first of all I'm gonna play the rough mix we put together the last time.
Stop and stare behind those eyes. What else you got in there? 'Cause you make me feel like I should learn to stop time.
Okay, now I want to engage all the effects on all the buses. I'm gonna use the Reaper's track manager because we can easily select all of those and turn on or off all the effects that are going on. So as you can see, I selected all of my buses. The drum bus, the bass bus, the guitar bus, the keyboards, and these three vocal buses. So I'm gonna engage all of them and we're gonna take a listen how does the verse sound with all the effects.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare behind those eyes. What else you got in there? 'Cause you make me feel like I should learn to stop time.
As you can probably hear, there's actually a huge difference. The whole thing sounds a lot more together now. I'm gonna play it one more quickly and A/B the changes.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare behind those eyes. What else you got in there? 'Cause you make me feel like I should learn to stop time.
So let's get right to it. The first thing that I have on my master bus is actually a compressor. I'm gonna be using Slate plugins here because I kinda got used to them, but it's up to you what are you going to use for these type of effects. So the first thing is the FG Gray, which is an emulation of a famous bus compressor, and it's set at 4:1 ratio. The fastest release and the attack is around 30 milliseconds. Also, I have the high pass filter rolled all the way up, so the compressor actually ignores all the low end information here. The next thing I have in my chain is the Slate Digital's also custom series lift. You can look at these two knobs, parallel EQ that's doing a low shelf boost and a high shelf boost. The next thing we have is the virtual tape machines, which is set to 15 IPS. Also, the plugin that's there is just a gain plugin. That's the final thing there because I'm kind of compensating for the volume that I added with these three plugins here. So let's just check out the master bus now.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare behind those eyes. What else you got in there? 'Cause you make me feel like I should learn to stop time.
As you can see and probably hear, the whole thing is more present. The vocals and the bass is a bit more controlled. Now let's get right to the drum bus. The thing I have engaged here is actually two plugins. One is VCC mix bus, which is set to an SSL type of emulation, and a compressor, which is set to work in parallel, and we're only blending in 30% of the compressed signal. Let's leave on the master effects and play the song with and without the drum bus processing.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare behind those eyes. What else you got in there? 'Cause you make me feel like I should learn to stop time.
Now for the bass bus, I have again two plugins. One is an EQ and one is a compressor. As you can see, I've rolled off a bit at 220 Hz and I gave it a bit more snap around 2.5K, and the compressor after that again set in parallel around 60%, so we're not fully compressing that bass sound. Let's check out the song with and without the bass processing.
stop and stare behind those eyes. What else you got in there? 'Cause you make me feel like.
Now the compression that's happening is just pulling out the bass a bit. It's making it sustain a bit longer, and that couple of dB that we gave it in the top really brings out the snap and helps the bass cut through the mix. Now let's move on to the guitar bass. I've approached it similar as I did with the bass bass, and the thing I have here is also an EQ and another compressor. Here I'm pulling out a bit of 3K just to give the guitar some bite, and I'm actually rolling off a bit of the highs. And the whole guitar bass has a high pass filter around 7 Hz. Let's check out the track with and without the guitar bass processing.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare behind those eyes. What else you got in there? 'Cause you make me feel like I should learn to stop time.
Actually, it's a very subtle difference, but you can hear the guitars now really blend in together, especially with the drums that are now really snappy after we compress them at the bass. So the guitars are really working their way through the transients of the drums. Next thing in line is the bass that I have for the keyboards. Now we have two EQs. I'm actually bringing out some of the top and some of the mid-range around 80 Hz with this custom series equalizer, also from Slate Digital. I'm actually cutting a bit of the 220. I'm kind of cutting it in the similar place that I did with the bass. Let's hear now how does it sound with processing and without.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare behind those eyes. What else you got in there? 'Cause you make me feel like I.
Now, if we take a listen to the bass and the keyboards together, we can see how well that they accompany each other and how well did that and how that didn't happen before we put on these EQs. Yeah, the effects that are on the keyboards bass are really helping the keyboards cut along together with the bass that has a lot of low end and sounds really great and awesome. Okay, the final thing I want to show you is what I did with the vocals. This is just a rough, also a very rough broad stroke of EQ on all the vocals because they do need some compression and that will come after this. But at this point, I just wanted to give them a bit more bite on the top. So for the lead vocal track, I did nothing but engaged 1.4 dB boost around 2K. For the vocal backing tracks, I added just a touch of 4K, also a dB and a half. And for the gang vocals, I boosted a bit of the 10K, cut out some of the 60, high passed around 150 and boosted around 4K again. Now let's just check out how does those basses affect the whole picture.
'Cause the girls would I want. I'll stand outside in the rain. 'Cause the girls would I want. I'll take the physical pain. 'Cause the girls would I want. At the end of the day.
Again, it's a very subtle difference, but it brings out the nice top that these vocals have. The recordings were great, the performance is great, the mics they use were great, so this slight boost is just giving it that extra push that we need. Finally, let's do an A-B comparison once more, with and without all the bass effects.
You make it hard, I wanna stop and stare behind those eyes. What else you got in there? 'Cause you make me feel like I should learn to stop time. I will give you this life that I'm in. If you show me the other side, 'cause the girl's what I want. I'll stand outside in the rain, 'cause the girl's what I want. I'll take the physical pain, 'cause the girl's what I want. At the end of the day, the girl's what I want.
Now, I'm very happy how this turned out, because there are very few moves that we made, but they affect the whole picture a lot. Especially on the low end, especially with the bass, because the bass, along with the keyboards, now really brings a lot of energy to the whole song. The vocals are more upfront and more present, and the drums overall now sound a tad more brighter, but have a tad more sustain. So the whole thing for me now sounds, if I can find a proper word, a bit more glued and a bit more coherent. I hope this was helpful. I will keep on mixing this song in the next video, where I will do some final tweaks, do some effects processing with reverbs, with delays, and kind of wrap this whole thing up. Thank you for watching, and bye.